Welcome back to Stationeers. And there's been quite a lot of commenting on my various airlock shenanigans, and I thought I'd just try a few things today and see if we can get things a little bit better state. I think people are trying to get to basically a really fast airlock, so lots of different suggestions. So first of all, I just wanted to, first of all, I'm going to have to just basically take it apart slightly, just deconstruct the console, just take the front off. I'm just going to replace the regular airlock with an advanced airlock circuit board. And I don't have any space left. Let's just drop that for a second. And I'm just going to rebuild this. I'm just going to see what extra options we get using this. And we're going to just grab my data disk. And there we go. So external and internal, fine. External is going to be 2. Internal is going to be, let's say, 30. Or we could cheese that and just say, hey, the internal is just 2. Let's just see what it does. But before I do that, I actually just want to try doing this properly. So, yeah, it's asking me for an exterior active vent. Let's just get a few things selected. So gas sensor is easy. We got the doors first of all. So you want the exterior door first. And it's going to ask for the interior door, so there it is. And then it's going to ask for the exterior active vent. We don't really have an exterior active vent, and I'd sort of prefer it if it just didn't do that. Because what the advanced airlock really does is it allows you to just keep this atmosphere out here. So if I was going to do that, then I'd have to probably put, a new active vent here, just with the pipe leading outside, and then it would try and keep everything that way. So why don't we just nab one of these, because I think we can just do without this one, and let's rebuild it slightly. Put it there, and I'm going to extend the cable this way, and then we'll be able to do it that way, I think. So if I just put it I know you want to place on a wall. There we go. Place on a wall. Good. So the pipe's going to have to face that way. And can we actually get it through the door? Let's put it here just in case. And then I will just deconstruct the pipework. And we'll get some cable. It's a couple of corner pieces. There we go. And we're going to rename this. So let's rename this the exterior active vent. Where is my renaming tool? There we are. And exterior active vent. Okay. And let's just turn that back off again. Do we actually want to do anything with this other than just a passive vent, I wonder? Well, first of all, it depends whether... Oh, there's some more pipe. Could do with that. It depends how fast this is going to be. Let me just see. Can I... If I put a pipe section there, can I actually get this through there? I'm almost sure it's going to say no. And if I try to remove this block, the whole inside is going to depressurize. So that's not great. I could put it into a canister of some kind, but that's no good. I guess we could just get it going by leaving that pipe there, and we don't have to worry about it. Well, we do have to worry about it, but not just right now. And then hopefully I can see an active vent here. No. Whoops. Is that the very top? Ah, there it is. Yep. So now it's going to say where are the interior ones. So we want that one, and well, it's not liking. Can I actually add these? I hope I can. Well, let's give this a go. What could it hurt? It could depressurize me, I guess, but let's give this a go. We got everything in hand, just in case I need stuff. Yeah. Let's cycle to the interior and see what happens. You're going to close. You're going to switch on. So the external one is removed. And then it's going to the interior. Now, it's relatively fast at going to the interior, but it is removing the exterior, and I don't like that. I would prefer to, well, it's actually in this pipe section, but that makes it even longer. It does keep the atmospheres separate, so if you want to keep the atmospheres separate, go ahead, use this method. I think what I'm going to do, however, is just cancel that. And it's going to depressurize the interior, off it goes. And then it's going to pull back from that pipe. Yeah, there we go. So we don't really need that to go to the external atmosphere. We just need a very small amount of storage if you want to use that method. I don't. So I'm just going to switch this back and we'll see if we can make it faster without doing that. So I'm going to deconstruct this thing again when I get to the right tool. There we go. And let's switch back. Because I'm more concerned about speed than I am about anything else. And you can go back in. And now I can switch this back to the previous mode. So let's just get rid of these pieces. There we go. And let's just deconstruct that, put it back where it was. It's be the other way around, isn't it? Yeah, there we go. And let's grab that pipe segment back again. Put this into a corner, and we're okay. I will probably need to just grab my data disk again and just nominate the stuff. Don't have to, but it won't be selected. There we go, active vent. Yeah, everything's selected. Fine, let's grab that back. And we're back to where we were. So that's a no-go, at least not for me. Maybe for you guys, you want to do that. And for keeping separate areas of the base. For example, if you had a hydroponics and you had a breathable area and there were different concentrations of gas, for instance, that's quite, that's quite useful to have that kind of thing. I'm just going to drop these switches here and I'll keep the pipe with me. I am then going to just try a couple of other things that people had suggested. There was, let's just see. I want to just have something with high capacity. So I'm going to make a tank connector. It's going to need some iron. Are you in here? Where's my iron? There's my iron. Or at least some of it. Okay, so tank connector. And I'm going to make one of those. And then the next thing we're going to make, that's going to be quite quick. Yeah. So I also want a portable tank. I want something with high volume. We're going to do this a few times and we're just going to pressurize this. I'm not going to release the stuff into the interior of the room. I want to see how well it works. I need a tank. It's in a kit, portable tank. There we go. That takes a little bit longer. So what I wanted to do is to, let me just get inside here while that's printing and just cancel. Now, a fair amount of that is it cycling these doors. So I did get a suggestion we should probably do this by IC instead of using it by console. And all you do with an IC, I think, is we'd have the IC maybe even in here, but there would be a person sensor, whatever they're called, motion sensor, and you'd basically check whether which door was open, and if the motion sensor was active, and then you'd know someone was in the airlock trying to go the other way. So if I was going to go this way, I know this door's open, the interior door, and now the inside's active, so close the interior door, open the exterior door after you've got rid of all the gas. And getting rid of all the gas is, not the easy part. So I'm just going to switch this around and we'll see just if we can get this any faster. So we're going to put it there. And I'm going to grab some pipe, corner, straight piece. And then I'm going to rework this. I'm just going to remove that piece and that piece. And then I'm just going to put this into a corner here. Well, I need a straight piece first. Corner. So basically anything inside the airlock is not going to be going into this room any longer. And then I can obviously remap it backwards if that doesn't work. I just want to see what happens when we put a high capacity tank in here. Now, the idea here is that the room has a certain amount of volume of gas. We know it's 34 kPa, and it's a nice 26 degrees now. Now we have a cooling system back on again. But the pipe network also has a certain volume inside of it, and I want to test, if that counts, whether this is pressurized inside a tank, or if it just needs to be inside the pipes itself. And we're just going to see how fast that interchange happens when we put something else on here. So let's just cycle to the exterior. And that tank should have printed by now. It is a kit, so you don't have the issue anymore of dragging it through an airlock, at least until the kit's built. I'm not sure if it gives you a kit back again afterwards. I don't think you can deconstruct it, but otherwise fine. Let's just cancel. And in fact, here, it can't actually pressurize now because it's not connected to the room anymore. So it can only draw the gas that's in the pipes. So that would actually increase over time, because every time you go through this airlock, it would add more gas back into the pipes trying to get to the outside. So we don't need to worry too much about that. Oh, there we go, portable tank. Let's pick that up and drop it. And then we can just attach it to this. Okay, here we go. And now I'm just going to cycle it a few times. So all I'm really going to do is just depressurize. And every time I go through, all this stuff in the room is going to go into that tank. Now, I don't need to worry too much about anything else. This is obviously going up. It's going to stop. There we go. And just cancel it. It opens the door. Cycle to the exterior. I think this should just pressurize that tank. But if it doesn't, then we can always just, pressurize it manually and see how that goes. This should be able to pressurize higher if that's actually happening. 35 kPa, I wish it would just stop there. Yeah, it'd be nice if that, in fact, no, it's not going to pressurize, is it? Because it's going to equalize whenever the door's open. Fine, that's going to work fine. I just need to pressurize this to a higher degree, maybe. So I think we're going to have to just change that piece out, and then I'm going to put two things in here. One, let's take a look. Where's my... That really should let me deconstruct. There it is. So let's just grab this, and we're going to put a three-way corner in there. Okay, and then we'll just put a T-junction. I want to go in this way. And then from here, in fact, let me just rip up the floor so you can see this a little bit better. There we go. So from here, I'm going to put something that will pressurize, and also something that will depressurize. It'll basically, what's it called? The back pressure regulator. So we don't want this to continue. Maybe we don't need that. If we don't need it, we don't need it. In the meantime, I'll just try this with... all I was trying to guard against is this being over-pressurized by continuing using the airlock, but if it rebalances, then that's fine. If it doesn't rebalance, we'll just add a back pressure regulator and that will work. So I'm just going to move this out a little bit more. There we go. And we will choose to, well, we have to build one, aren't we? Unless I've got a volume pump spare. I doubt I have. Let's get outside and see if I've got one. In fact, let's just build a new one. So where are you? Are you in the pipe bender? I hope so. Let's have a look. Portable scrubber, pressure regulator should be in here. Then volume pump. So I already have one. That's going to need some gold. I'm out of gold. That's about typical. I have a valve. Do I have any pressure regulators? Or volume pumps or something along those lines? Let me check. Okay, so I grabbed the pressure regulator from our old furnace setup over there instead of a volume pump. And I've set this fairly high, 1000 kPa or 1 MPa, because what's going to happen with this airlock is, if we're on the outside now and we go back to come in and we press pressurize, it's going to pull from that tank rather than from, through various passive vents. When it pulls from that, it's going to increase the pressure in here to 100. This is what this is just set to by default. and it's going to open this interior door. However, then all the gas is going to flow out of this room through the interior door, and then there's going to be less in the tank available. So if you're going to have a tank to do like a buffer reserve in your pipe network, then you're going to want to increase the pressure in this tank significantly. So we're going to want it so that every time I go through here, if I'm going backwards and forwards 2 or 3 times, it's got enough to serve that. And beyond that point, then we can, it's up to 350 already. Beyond that point, then yeah, it's going to be a little bit slow if it doesn't have enough reserve. So you have to cancelize pressurization there. I'm just going to put this floor back. There we go. Will it do with V? It's not very good at just selecting the floor, is it? I wish it would. There we go. Let's put the flooring back. We don't actually need anything else. So yeah, it's fairly neat and tidy. I may well move it later, but it does mean I can just cut off all of this pipe and all of these passive vents if it does indeed work. So let's see how well it works, shall we? I don't think I've mentioned there has been a change towards basically our hydroponic system. Essentially what was happening was, initially before they increased it last time, it was consuming almost no carbon dioxide, producing almost no oxygen, because it was a realistic rate, and they increased it by 10 times. They've just done the same again, so it's now 100 times more than it was. So if we have a look at the content of this canister now, it's up to 6% O2. And that's absolutely fine by me. This rate is okay. You'll see there's 61 moles of CO2 in there, and 4 moles of O2 is what I was saying, 6% O2. So it's 100 times what it was, but because these plants grow much faster than real plants, they also need to increase the rate of consumption so that that's sort of the same amount, if you understand what I mean. So the total amount of O2 consumed over its lifetime before it gets to the harvest stage is the same. It just so happens to grow a huge amount faster in a game. So that is that's going and producing just fine. And as I said, there's 61 moles of CO2 in there, but in this room there is 109 moles of CO2. So that canister really has, you know, most of this room, well, at least over half of this room's capacity in CO2, just in terms of actual, you know, molecules, available to it. So I think it's actually quite fine to use canisters here. It leaves them nicely separated. They don't get used up very fast. And once they do, the plant's just going to stop growing. And so it's you know, a sort of automatic system there. And of course, you can add extra lines. Now, if you really wanted to, you could just put a passive vent on there. People have actually asked about that, and that's no problem at all. That'll pull from this room, and then, you know, you just need to deal with the filtering of O2 in the room. A couple of things I've also done just between these two clips that I've recorded. I've also increased the pressure regulator outside to pressurize this room to 101 instead of 35. That has, well, a couple of effects. One is any heat exchange with this radiator sort of network on this pipe network is going to be, I think, slightly more effective, but also we're going to get the problem, well, not a problem, good thing really, in any heating that we do in this room. If we just, for example, what temperature is this at? It's 26 degrees, same as here. So any heating that comes out of this unit, and it does heat things up, apparently it is leaky to heat. There he goes, it's just refilling. There he goes. Will be quite slow. The room has a higher heat capacity for dealing with that. So, you know, we don't have to work quite as hard to exchange it and stuff like that. So I'm quite happy. How high have you got to now? 733. All right, so let's see how fast this is now. So cycling to the exterior. So closed door, 1000, 1000, 1. So 3 seconds or so to the exterior. And from the time the door closes. So same thing on the interior. Let's see what happens. Close, 1000, 1000, 1000. Now that is actually faster. You'll see it's dropping again now, and this is the effect, because it's now going back into the room, which is then being drawn back in by this, and then repressurized. So you'll see that dropped about 100 kPa or so, maybe 150, because the different volumes, obviously, between that block and you know, the tank and stuff, and the pipe network. But it is actually quite a bit faster than before. It is, however, not... how to say this? There's sort of a wait time whenever I click this button before it actually does anything. And that's something we may have to think about by replacing this with an IC. It's fast enough for me at the moment, But yeah, you know, we could always maybe optimize that a little bit further with an IC program. So yeah, take it or leave it, and decide what to do with that. So let's head outside again, and that should be a nice system now. We shouldn't have any further issues, and I certainly don't need to hit cancel. It's going to pressurize fast enough. So that's just going to be a short episode today, just really dealing with the feedback that people were talking about from the airlock. I'm not going to do any large constructions because I've done a couple of bumper episodes of about 40 minutes for the last couple, I think, if I remember rightly. So yeah, I don't want to have fatigue for me talking in front of you. So yeah, just to show you, the pressure regulator on the outside is going to pressurize that room to 101, sort of atmospheric pressure. And yeah, we've got that tank that's actually doing the airlock duty. So that problem is solved apart from an IC program. Let me know in the comments below if you want to see an IC program for an airlock. Then I'll build one by all means. It'll probably be even faster than this, and I think we'll put a motion sensor underneath there and we'll just have it do it automatically. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments below, and you feel free to suggest any programs if you've written them yourself as well, and we will probably pick that up next time. I don't want to spend any more time really on hydroponics airlocks or something. I'll probably just demonstrate it briefly and show you a paste bin or something like that if we're going to do that. And you've seen the setup of ICs before, so you know, we just have to attach the right screws to the right things. We'll have to attach one for the gas sensor, and then probably think about a logic memory for the batch writers for the airlock active vents. And I think that's it, apart from the doors. So inner door, outer door. So we need 4 screws, I think. And then one of them will be a logic memory, which will get used by a batch writer. But feel free to try them yourself, and it should be an interesting challenge to do so. And we'll catch up with that next episode. So I hope you liked it. I know it's been a bit of a bumbly building episode about just how to solve this problem, but yeah, it's pretty much solved now. We just need to maybe add an IC to it. So I hope you liked the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, share, as you would already do. And yeah, as always, guys, thanks for watching.